Hello and welcome back to the Labyrinth of Grisaia, Yumiko's route, so to say. It would be more correct to say that it's Yumiko's ending, but that would confuse a lot of people regarding to the Fruit of Grisaia. So I'm just gonna call it Yumiko's route from now on. In the last episode, we discovered how things were straight after Yuuji and Yumiko returned home to the now closing Mihama Academy. And where Fruit of Grisaia jumped ahead, we are still taking their lives as students. In the first episode, Yumiko decided to get some action back into her and Yuuji's relationship by dressing up in a bunny suit, egged on by her fellow female students. Let's continue. Being a man means valuing some things even more highly than your life. Those are Kusakabe Asako's words, and she drilled them into my head. I've been doing my damnedest to live up to her teachings ever since. I don't have Kazuki's brilliance or Makine's uncanny instincts. There's no way I could have done Asako's job without the ironclad willpower she instilled in me. And I'm only where I am today because I swore a certain oath. Namely, that I'd protect Sakaki Yumiko. I'm no longer Sakaki Yumiko's bodyguard, of course, but I'm still obligated to honor that commitment. Yes, no matter what hardships await me, I'll do my duty to the bitter end. Thanks for the food. Beaming proudly, Yumiko waits her to hear my thoughts on the breakfast she prepared, and my chopsticks tremble slightly in my hands. Is there some reason you need to brace yourself like that just to eat my cooking? Impressive, Yumiko. You've learned to read my mind now? I suppose it's quite easy to see when you're getting ready to bully me, at least. Yumiko seems to think I'm doing this out of malice, but that couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, I'm delighted that she's gone out of her way to cook for me. The only problem is, all that love and patience in the world can't make genuinely inedible food any more tolerable. I did my very best to make this. Aren't you even going to try it? It pains me deeply to see that look on your face, but surely you haven't forgotten what happened last time. Well, back then, I hadn't really started learning yet. The tragedy I'm referring to took place a mere 7 days after the East Beach Group's board of directors voted to remove Sakaki Michiaki from power. In an attempt at expressing her gratitude for the support of our friends, Yumiko personally made the miso soup with pork for everyone in the dorm. With the exception of Michiru, we all ended up getting sick to our stomachs. By the end of that terrible incident, Chizuru very nearly called the police, mistakenly thinking one of Sakaki Michiaki's henchmen had poisoned us in an attempt at revenge. It's relatively easy to strengthen your muscles, but toughening up your digestive system is far more difficult. In the words of the unfortunate Marines who fought in the jungles of Guadalcanal some 70 years ago, our real enemies are malaria, dysentery, and dengue fever. I mean, I do feel terrible about what happened, you know, but I'm positive I've improved since then. Please, Yuuji? Now she's hitting me with the puppy dog eyes. Damn, it's impossible not to feel guilty when my normally strong-willed girlfriend starts tearing up like this. Alright, if you're that confident, I will give it a try. With all the enthusiasm of a doomed NCO embarking on a kamikaze mission, I pick up the steaming miso soup in front of me and take a few sips. Well? I see. This is definitely a distinct improvement. You think so? Yeah, I couldn't even tell what I was tasting with that pork soup. But this time, the only issue is that it's mostly flavorless. In other words, I failed again? Maybe. But there's no need to be ashamed. At this rate, you'll be making delicious miso soup soon enough. I do hope you're right about that. But in any case, I'm happy you tried it for me. Averting her eyes from mine, Yumiko squirms around bashfully. I have to admit, it's pretty damn cute. Right, you did good, Yumiko. Before I know it, I find myself reaching my hand out across the table. Huh? As I pet her gently on the head, Yumiko blinks in dumbfounded surprise. Yuuji, what are you... I just felt like showing you a little affection the way I do with Sachi and Makina. I hope that didn't upset you. No, I'm very happy. That isn't the reaction I was expecting, to be honest. Well, I was always envious of those two, you know. Whenever you complimented them, you'd pat them on the head so kindly.
Should have said something. It's not like I would have turned you down.
Now that's a lie. If I'd actually said I want you to pat my head, you'd either have burst into laughter or assumed I'd taken leave of my senses.
Good point. If you demanded head pats a year ago, I probably would have suspected it was some kind of trap.
Honestly, I do wish you'd learn a little more tact sometimes one of these. Just as Yumiko's about to blow her top, a bit of divine providence arrives in the form of her cell phone's alarm.
It's almost time, huh?
Yes, the first lecture started at 9 today, so I need to be getting ready.
Amane is the morning lecturer today, right?
That's right, Susan's quite good at cooking, so I'm going to steal as many of her techniques as I can. I'll be making you delicious food in no time, Yuuji. After delivering this line with a little fist pump, Yumiko stands from the table and tells me to continue my meal, then heads to the back of the room to prepare for her departure. These lectures are one aspect of the self-directed studies Yumiko's been pursuing recently. She asked her friends to tutor her in their particular areas of expertise, with the goal of correcting her weaknesses in traditionally feminine skills like housework and cooking. When Amane is the lecturer, it's basically a beginner's cooking course. She's learning the use of a kitchen knife and how to handle various ingredients, among other things. In any given day, Yumiko's actually attending 2 separate lessons, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. Our classmates did volunteer us their help, but they're definitely going above and beyond the call of duty. We owe them some real gratitude. Well then, I'll be on my way now. After a little while, Yumiko completes her morning grooming and returns carrying a bag that contains her notebooks and writing implements.
Amane's skills in the kitchen are the real deal. Go soak up as much of her knowledge as you can.
Right. I offer Yumiko some words of encouragement, but her reply is a bit half-hearted.
What's wrong? Are you still hungry?
That's not it,
Yeah, I know, you're way too obvious, Yumiko. Just couldn't help teasing you a little.
Honestly, you're such a bully sometimes. I interrupt Yumiko's sulky complaints by reaching out to touch her cheek. She responds by slowly closing her eyes. After studying her face for a few enjoyable seconds, I lean in and bring my mouth to her gently pursed lips. They are as soft and supple as ever. After a brief, gentle kiss, we pull our faces slowly apart from each other. I love you, Yuuji.
Well, I love you too.
Yeah. Okay, I really do have to get going now.
Try not to space out during the lecture thinking about that kiss, alright?
Don't be ridiculous. Of course I won't. After offering another pleasantly predictable response to my teasing, Yumiko finally leaves the room. I quietly watch her go. This morning routine makes me feel a bit like a stay-at-home husband, but oddly enough, that doesn't bother me the slightest. I guess it's because I've already resolved myself to a future at Yumiko's side. Unless I'm very much mistaken, sooner or later Yumiko's going to earn herself a great deal of power and assume responsibility for the well-being of many people. She really is just that capable a woman. I'm not yet sure exactly where she'll put her talents to use, but when she completes her studies and discovers her path, I want to at least be capable of supporting her. After a year spent in the company of Sakaki Yumiko, that's the conclusion I've reached. Accordingly, I'm keeping up a lifestyle much like the one I pursued in my first month at Mihama. I keep up with my training, as always. I read my books, as always. If an emergency should arise, if Yumiko should ever need my help, I want to be prepared to rush over immediately and resolve the problem. That basic principle of readiness applies to both my private and professional life. I hope you had a pleasant run, Kasami-san. When I return after my usual morning run, Sachi greets me in the courtyard, which she has apparently been cleaning. Here you are.
Appreciate it, as always.
Accepting the plastic water bottle she casually offers me, I quickly gulp down its contents.
Lychee flavor today, huh?
Indeed, both salt and water are necessary to prevent heat stroke, yes? I mix lychee juice, various herbs, and a bit of honey to create a tasty, refreshing drink.
I really do appreciate your thoughtfulness, but I'm starting to feel a little guilty about the way you give me something after every run.
You need not worry yourself. I'm acting on my own initiative, after all, in the hope of receiving your praise.
Right. Almost forgot.
Finally realizing what Sachi is after, I drop my hand onto her slightly sweaty head and give it a vigorous patting. In response, she lets out an uncharacteristically high-pitched little squeak. Sachi is just adorable in any way.
So, anyway, is Yumiko still in the middle of her lesson?
Yes, she's currently honing her skills under Amane-san's Spartan training routine.
I see.
Is that all you have to say on the matter?
Were you expecting something more?
I hate to be presumptuous, but she is the woman you love, is she not? Normally, I would expect you to be a bit more curious about her daily activities.
Well, Yumiko always tells me about her lessons after the fact, you know.
But there's no guarantee she's telling you the truth.
What was that?
Amane-san conducts her lectures in her room, as you know, but for some unknown reason, her door is always locked for the duration.
It is?
Indeed, what's more, she shuts out Maki-chan, who usually is allowed to treat that room as if it were her own. Seems a bit extreme, don't you think?
Yeah, I guess that is a little odd.
The fact of the matter is, only those two know for sure what takes place in that room during their 3-hour lectures.
Come to think of it, I've never actually seen Yumiko taking one of her lessons. Of course, I don't know why she'd feel the need to lie about their content, and I do trust her. That said, without proof, I can't be absolutely sure that the lingering excitement of our kiss isn't causing any problematic behavior on her part. What exactly are you getting at, Sachi?
Allow me to be blunt. I'm encouraging you to sneak a peek with me.
I see. You just want a get-out-of-jail-free card in case they catch you peeping, right?
You're quite astute. In any case, I can easily open the lock on that door. Once we get a good look, it should put your mind at ease.
Well, I guess you do have a point.
Can I take that to mean that you're willing to take part in this operation with me?
Yeah, if you're that determined, I'll be your accomplice.
I expected nothing less from you, Kasami-san. Let us be on our way at once.
Right.
Okay then, let's move on to learning how to use the knife. We finally made it this far. As Sachi and I approach Amane's door, we can hear two voices from within. I find myself holding my breath. Guess you're excited to finally get a little hands-on knife practice, huh? Of course I am. I was more than a little disturbed when you started off by telling me, stare at that daikon radish like you're a sexually frustrated housewife. Right. That's just kind of image training, you know? When you get a little more practice, you'll know exactly what to do with an ingredient the instant you pick it up. That's what my dad always says, at least. I do understand the general idea, but the frustrated housewife part doesn't seem particularly relevant. Oh, that? Yes, I was thinking it might make you broaden your horizons a little. My horizons are fine as they are, thank you. The nature of their conversation makes it clear that they're in the middle of a cooking lesson, exactly as scheduled. I can't help letting out a small sigh of relief.
Doesn't sound like they're up to anything particular and decent in there. Guess we got overly active imaginations.
You think so? From what I've heard, their conversation is frequently lapsing into the obscene. Apparently unconvinced by my conclusion, Sachi tilts her head quizzically, then sets about picking the lock on the door. There's no longer any real grounds to suspect any funny business is taking place in there, but now that we're here, I have to admit I'd like to see Yumiko learning. So, how exactly will I be practicing? From what you told me, it's not like you're completely useless with a knife, so why don't we start off by seeing if you can peel that daikon into long, thin sheets? Oh, isn't that how it's cut when you are making sashimi garnish? That's right. Also, we'll be using a normal kitchen knife this time, not a double-edged one. Fair warning, it takes some finesse to use these properly. I've successfully unlocked the door.
Well done. At this point, we only need to peek inside. Are you ready, PFC Comedian?
Yes, sir. My heart is pounding terribly fast, but it won't prevent me from carrying out my duties.
Alright, here goes.
Although Sachi's peculiar state of excitement concerns me somewhat, I nonetheless proceed to ease the door soundlessly open. Oh, is this how I should be holding it? You sort of want to hold the knife closer to your stomach, usually. But getting familiar with the basic process is more important for now. Try and get a grip on that lets you move the daikon around easily. A grip that allows me to move it easily? Murmuring Amane's advice to herself, Yumiko carefully sizes up the daikon she'll be practicing with. It's a distinctly different kind of gaze than one she might turn on a paperback novel in her idle moments. Even from across the room, I can practically feel her concentration and intensity. It leaves me at a loss for words. Glancing over at Sachi, I find her just as captivated as me. How's it going? You find a good position for your thumb yet? Yes, I think this feels about right. Okay then, let's start peeling that sucker. Just make sure you hold your knife still as you turn the daikon. Alright then. When Amane gives her the go-ahead, Yumiko cautiously begins to move her hands. Less than 5 seconds later, her progress abruptly stops. Looks like you peeled about 3 centimeters there, huh? Guess that's your first score to beat. I'd been expecting some trouble, but it is really difficult to find the right amount of force. Your left hand was moving pretty nicely though. If you can control your knife a little better, I think you'll be peeling away in no time. Well, that would certainly be nice. Either way, there's only one way to improve. Peel, girl! Peel that sucker! Peel it real good! Right. Blushing for no apparent reason, Yumiko turns her attention back to the daikon radish in her hand. Have to keep my knife under control. Oh no, I cut through it again. From what I'm seeing, your right hand's definitely the problem. Try to pretend it's a robot, okay? All it has to do is move the blade up and down, up and down. Alright. After every failure, Yumiko listens carefully to Amane's advice and tries earnestly to improve her technique. Amane does keep a pretty positive tone, but she doesn't hesitate to clearly point out the mistakes her pupil is making. It's honestly surprising to see Yumiko taking her criticism this well, and approaching the task at hand this persistently. Oh, it's going pretty well this time. Whoops. You really can't help using too much force with that knife, can you? I'm sorry, I really am trying to keep your advice in mind, Susan. Okay then, how about a new plan? Think of that daikon as Yuuji. This daikon is Yuuji? Yep, what you're holding right now, it ain't a radish. It's your beloved Yuuji's precious... Well, you mean his... Yep, and with that image in your mind, move your fingers gently, carefully. I don't think that's going to help matters, but I suppose you're the instructor here. I'll give it a try. That's the spirit, Sakagi-san. Let's get a full rotation this time. Having completely fallen for Amane's nonsense, Yumiko looks down at her radish with bright red cheeks. Under the circumstances, she is naturally even more tense than before. And predictably she failed almost immediately. I'm sorry, I think that only made the problem worse. Nah, it's my bad. I forgot how much of a perv you are, Sakagi-san. Well, pardon me for being a perv then.
Sachi, my friend, Amane's skills in the kitchen are clearly genuine, but doesn't this lesson plan strike you as a bit questionable?
It is often said that a person's nature is revealed by even their most casual words, but Amane-san's simplicity is almost inspiring.
Even if Yumiko does learn to cook this way, I'm honestly not sure how happy I'll be about it.
You have my profound condolences.
I mean, if she treats every cooking object as his, I can understand why he feels that way. Peeling carrots, ooh, that's unpleasant.
The only thing, well, no, beating the meat, that would not be good as well.
Oh, poor Yuuji.
While the two of them had their few dubious exchanges at first, the lesson proceeded calmly enough for a time. But after 2 hours of struggling with the daikon, Yumiko still hasn't gotten the hang of it. There's now a growing sense of tension in the air. Not yet. At this point, maybe we should back up a little and get you some more practice with just handling the knife. Perhaps you're right, Susan, but please, would you allow me a little more time? Just a little? Well, learning by repetition isn't always. Please, Susan. Okay, since you're that determined, let's keep going for a little while longer. Thank you. After exhaling deeply in an attempt to calm herself, Yumiko once again focuses intently on the challenge at hand. Her hands begin to move, more slowly and carefully than ever before. Gah! One more time. Yumiko cuts through the peel, pauses, and then begins again, over and over. As she persistently repeats this progress, the conversation between them fades away, leaving the room silent except for the sound of a knife slicing into the daikon. Sakagi-san's focus is most remarkable. Yeah. The Sakagi Yumiko I know always had a tendency to give up easily in the face of a challenge. Painfully aware of her helplessness in the face of power and authority, she'd come to regard struggling any harder than necessary as a meaningless waste of effort. However, there's not even the slightest sign of frustration in the woman I'm looking at right now. Just a little bit more. And today, her earnest efforts are actually repaid. Right? Keep moving your hands at a good tempo. Just as the lesson about to come to an end, she finally managed to slice all the way around her radish. I did it! Look, I did it, right? Right, Amane? Yeah, the peel was only about a centimeter wide at the end there, but you got all the way around the radish. Right, I finally did it. Sorry, I get that you're happy and all, but could you ease up on that bear hug a little? Huh? Oh, I'm sorry, I was really happy, I just... I guess even you act on impulse sometimes, huh? Well, I am a human like anyone else, of course, I do. Every once in a while. And you call me Amane too. Huh? Did I really? Yep, I know what I heard. I'm sorry. In that case, I didn't mean to be so familiar. You don't need to apologize, okay? But, I mean, it made me pretty happy. Huh? To tell you the truth, I was on the verge of giving you a big hug myself. You tried so hard to peel that daikon, Sakagi-san. It made me really happy to see you finally succeed. Susan. But you know what? I was even happier that you jumped into my arms before I got the chance. I'm not sure I understand, but if you say so. I mean, it's not like you could really have called us the closest of friends before, you know. True enough, before I left this place a year ago, I was an absurdly contrary person. But when you hugged me like that, it made me realize how much more comfortable you are around me now. That wasn't a misunderstanding on my part, right? No, it wasn't. Great, thanks. That being the case, Sakagi-san, I got a little proposal for you. A proposal? Yep, from now on I want you to call me Amane, just like you did a minute ago. Huh? We're talking all the time, and now you're learning cooking from me. I don't think it's so weird to drop the honorific, right? Perhaps, but this is so sudden. Wouldn't it seem a little overfamiliar? It's fine. I'm asking you to do it, right? Alright. I'll address you that way from now on. Great. On that note, I'll be calling you Yumiko as well. What? It'd be pretty silly if you started calling me Amane while I'm still calling you Sakagi-san, right? I mean, I suppose so, but... Makes sense, right, Yumiko? Well, alright, Amane. Great! Okay then, why don't we squeeze in a little more practice before our time's up? Yes, let's... As the two of them laugh bashfully and head back toward the kitchen, I quietly ease the door shut. Sachi, are you crying? I'm sorry, I didn't intend to, but when I saw those two laughing like that, it made me so very happy. I know what you mean. When I first met Yumiko here, she was actively avoiding contact with others and spent most of her time alone. Betrayed by both her family and her friends, she'd come to lose faith in her humanity as a whole. But now she's struggling to change and trying to deepen her friendships with her classmates. It's understandable why Sachi would be so touched by that. I was wondering why I hadn't come across any instant yakisoba disasters in the sink lately, but now I think I understand. In any case, it's clear those two are taking their cooking lessons seriously. Indeed, I am most ashamed to have harbored such wicked thoughts regarding their conduct. Still, if you hadn't invited me, I probably wouldn't have experienced this sense of relief right now. That's very kind of you to say so.
With that said, how about we head back to our rooms now?
Perhaps it's a bit unfair for me to say this, but are you sure you are satisfied?
When you're struggling to improve yourself, the last thing you need is an audience.
Hashtag wet. Oh, Sachi. Oh. Everybody's a beginner at first. You can't expect things to go perfectly on your very first try. If you want to succeed, you have to press on despite your failures. Those who smirk at the effort of others never grow as people. While my observation of Yumiko has already provided me with a highly meaningful reminder of these principles, it doesn't take long before I'm once again encouraged to spy on her. Hey there, Yuuji. I hear the afternoon lesson's gonna be in the classroom.
And why are you telling me this?
Dude, learn to read between the lines.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I know the answer. You're telling me to go sneak a peek, right?
Bingo! Michiru's teaching her about the art of tsundere, you know? Aren't you kinda curious what exactly that involves?
True enough.
I don't want to speak ill of my classmates, since they've all done their best to help us, but Michiru's not exactly the wisest person I know. Given how much the girl herself has to learn, it's difficult to imagine what she can possibly teach anyone else who wouldn't be curious about how she's conducting her lectures.
Still, if they notice me peeping, I don't think either of them would be very pleased.
If worst comes to worst, we're ready to sacrifice ourselves for the cause. Right, you're innocent, Yuuji-han. If things go south, you can just pin it all on us.
From the looks of things, these two are going to keep coming at me no matter how many arguments I try. In that case, it's probably best just to tag along. I can keep an eye on these two and encourage them to head back quickly. Alright then, as long as you promise not to interfere with the lesson, I'll accompany you.
Okay, we have us a deal! Well then, let me show you to your seat. Anyway, why are they bothering to go out to the school building for this?
Probably because it's where Michiru usually practices.
Wait, are you saying you've seen Michiru rehearsing her tsundere routine before?
Yeah, the very morning I transferred in, actually. I found her in the classroom doing some solo vocal exercises.
Oh, I see. No wonder I don't really see her practicing that often. That's when she does it. As we approach the classroom, our conversation is interrupted by the sound of vocal exercises, very much like the ones I heard on my first morning in Mihama.
Looks like they've already gotten started.
Okay then, time to start the peeping show. Perhaps it's not my place to comment, but you certainly start things off with the basics, don't you? Listen up, Yumiko. A tsundere's voice is their life. When you fire off a perfect line, you really don't want to get a huh in return. Repeating this stuff it's just the worst. Following my plan, the three of us peek in from the back of the classroom. Inside, Yumiko and Michiru are standing next to each other, facing the blackboard. The way they are standing looks familiar. I guess Michiru is following her usual rehearsal routine for the purpose of this lesson. I see. Sorry for my impertinence, Matsushima-san.
Ah!
Is there some reason you're glaring daggers at me now? I don't think you're addressing me properly. In this classroom, I am the tsundere master, remember? So that means you call me master. We've been over this. These two, they're like cats and dogs. Hey, what's with that, what's she babbling about now? Look on your face. Sure, you're smarter than me and everything, but when it comes to the tsundere arts, I'm your teacher. You gotta do what your teacher says. That's how society works. Very well then, master. See? It wasn't so hard, was it? It's embarrassing for me too, you know, so just bear with it. Good lord, we've only just started and I already want to leave. Okay, I know I'm a dum-dum and all, and so bear with me here, but what the hell are these two even doing?
Assuming Amane's intelligence is correct, this is a tsundere-themed lesson of sort.
Sorry, I'm not feeling so confident at the moment.
Okay then, next up we're going to try rehearsing some fundamental tsundere lines. Repeat after me, okay?
Yes, alright.
Don't get the wrong idea, okay?
Don't get the wrong idea, okay?
It's not like I did this for you or anything.
It's not like I did this for you or anything.
Oh, not bad at all, Yumiko. You got some real potential.
Did that come out well? It didn't particularly click with me, to be honest.
Yep, going by the Eastern Japan scale, I think that was easily worth 80 points or so.
What on earth is the Eastern Japan scale?
Well, like I said, when you were cosplaying, you've always been a kuudere. Guess it's not surprising you got the basics down.
I've been meaning to say this for a while, but it's not like I'm consciously trying to be a kuudere, you know?
Huh? Wait, is that one of your personal kuudere lines?
Of course not. It was a perfectly ordinary reply to your comment. Please don't get the wrong idea.
God, this time you're throwing in a little tsundere on top? What the heck, Yumiko? Are you already challenging your master for supremacy?
Why aren't you listening to a word I say? I'm here because I wanted to learn from you, alright?
Oh man, and she finishes up with a dose of classic terror. Okay, I see how it is. Your challenge is accepted by pupil. Come at me, Yumiko!
Oh, for heaven's sake, you're unbelievable.
Yumi-chan's kinda losing her temper.
Yumiko's a patient woman, but I guess Michiru's idiocy was too much to bear. Also, I know they're practicing tsundere techniques and all, but does Yumiko even need to learn that stuff?
If anything, I feel like Yumi-chan should be the one giving the lesson here.
I know, right?
So you're really not trying to stage a coup here?
Yes, that is correct. It certainly took a while, but I'm glad we cleared up that misunderstanding.
That's definitely a relief. If you took my top tsundere status from me, I wouldn't really have anything else to teach you.
That isn't true.
Huh?
While I do recognize your tsundere expertise, there are plenty of things I'd like to learn from you, Matsushima-san. There was missing an S there.
Are there?
Yes, in particular, I've always been impressed by how much you value harmony. You don't want anyone to feel left out. You want everyone to have a smile on their face, and you try your best to make that happen.
But
no matter how aloof and hostile I was, whenever the group was going to do something, you always made sure to invite me too. In retrospect, your thoughtfulness was probably the only thing that saved me from complete isolation.
Yumiko.
What I'm trying to say is, thank you, Matsushima-san.
Huh?
It's a little embarrassing to mention all this so long after the fact, but I think I would have regretted leaving it unsaid.
Michiru is overloaded with data.
Matsushima-san, are you listening to me?
She's so pretty.
Huh?
It's nothing at all.
Your face is awfully red, though. Are you alright?
Sure. I mean, you got the wrong idea, okay?
I do? About what?
Well, you know, it's not like I'm suddenly seeing you that way or having any naughty thoughts.
Naughty thoughts? Hold on. Have you people set up some kind of prank to embarrass me?
No. I'm the one who's embarrassed right now, actually. My heart's beating kind of fast, and your face is a bit too close, Yumiko-san.
Yiri-san and Kumini-san watching from the shadows somewhere? Tell them to come out right this minute. Apologize right now and I'll forgive you.
But what? Hold on, no! Don't get so close!
Come on, out with it!
That went about as well as you'd expect. Well, no!
Is it just me or are things heading in a weird direction?
No, Yuuji, it's just you. So much for the tsundere lesson. Looks like she's onto the Chito route now, boys.
Honestly, though, I can sort of understand how Michiru is feeling right now.
Really? You into girls too, Amane? Didn't know you swung both ways.
Not sure how to put this, but when Yumiko says thank you like that, it packs a serious punch. Speaking from experience, are we? What's essential? What's unimportant? Everyone has different answers to these questions. Others can make their best guesses, but ultimately you have the right to determine the things that matter to you. Accordingly, only Yumiko knows for sure exactly how much she gained from her lessons today. But if nothing else, it's clear to me that the gratitude she feels toward her classmates is both earnest and profound. Here we are, eat up. With a big smile on her face, Yumiko indicates the food spread out across our table. But although I'm less anxious about her cooking in general than I was this morning, my chopsticks still aren't moving.
Before that, I'd like to request an explanation of today's menu.
An explanation? Well, it's a menu themed around the daikon radish. They're full of vitamin C, you know.
True enough. The thing is, I don't see anything but daikon.
Apart from a large, sloppy pile of boiled radishes, there's also some thinly sliced There's also some thinly sliced daikon stuffed in a rice bowl. Nothing else. Well, my cooking lesson today involving slicing a daikon. Thanks to my clumsiness, we ended up going through quite a lot. It seemed like a waste to just throw all these radishes out, so I thought we could eat them ourselves.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of wasting food either, but
while I'm used to eating some pretty simple meals, it's hard to understand why she did at least include some rice or miso soup. Not to worry though, Amane's the one who did the actual cooking.
Look, that really isn't the issue.
Oh, I see how it is. You're trying to bully me again, aren't you?
Yumiko, please. At least listen to what I have to say.
Wait, isn't that the perfect chance to put my new skills to the test? Her eyes suddenly widening, Yumiko proceeds to mutter to herself for a little while. Maybe I've finally gotten through to her. Quit whining and just eat it already!
Excuse me?
Yumiko's sudden shift in behavior catches me completely off guard. For a moment, I'm literally speechless. It's not like I tried so hard because I wanted you to praise me or anything.
Yumiko?
If that's how you want to play it, then I suppose I'll just have to feed it to you myself. What the hell is this? If there's someone out there who can make sense of what's currently happening to me, I'd really appreciate a little assistance. I suppose that was premature. I'm still just an amateur after all. Just as I'm about to whisper a few uncharacteristic prayers to someone or other, Yumiko's tone abruptly returns to normal.
Yumiko, you regained your senses?
Excuse me, I don't recall losing them in the first place.
Then why did you start acting like a completely different person?
That was my attempt at a tsundere attitude. Matsushima-san taught me some of the basics this afternoon, so I wanted to give it a try.
In other words, you thought I'd eat the food if you came at me with a tsundere attitude?
Yes, it's a bit embarrassing to admit this, but I'm just not used to laying down my guard, you know. I thought focusing on the affectionate aspect of the tsundere routine would, well, help me show you more of my cute side. What with that bunny girl suit yesterday and the kiss this morning, I think she's really got a pretty good grasp on the dare thing.
No reason to worry yourself too much about that, Yumiko. I already think you're cute.
What?
And in any case, you worked hard slicing these radishes, right? I'm not gonna turn up my nose at them.
So, you'll really eat them?
Yeah. Now that I'm over the initial surprise, the daikon theme doesn't really bother me anymore.
Yuuji. The smile returns to Yumiko's face. Apparently she can see that I'm sincere about this. Alright then, let me feed them to you at least.
What?
Please? I'd really like to show you my appreciation somehow.
Sure, why not? Don't see how it could hurt.
Right. I don't really think there's any reason to make a big deal out of this, but it's obvious that Yumiko wants me to play along. Considering how much effort she put into her lessons today, I'm more than willing to indulge her. Okay then, open your mouth.
Sure.
At Yumiko's urging, I open wide like a baby bird waiting to be fed by its mother. She proceeds to slip a piece of boiled daikon into my mouth. As I begin to chew on it, the salty sweet flavor of miso spreads across my tongue. What do you think?
It's good. The daikon's just soft enough and the flavor's perfect.
Oh, come to think of it. Amane is the one who made that. Of course it'd be delicious.
In that case, maybe I'll try some of that sliced daikon next.
Alright, I'll get it for you.
I appreciate the thought, but you really don't have to wait on me hand and foot.
It's fine. I already decided to keep this up for the entire meal. Here we are, Yuuji. Say ah.
I don't exactly mind watching Yumiko enjoying herself like this, but if she gets too carried away...
It's fine. I already decided to keep this up for the entire meal. Here we are, Yuuji. Say ah.
Ma? Exactly what I was afraid of. Guess I should have warned her beforehand. So it's you two today, huh?
I went out of my way to pick a different time to visit, but I ended up seeing Yumi-chan making a fool of herself yet again.
I haven't even had dinner yet, but I'm already quite sated. I suppose I might as well ask, how long have you been there?
Let's see now. I think quit whining and just eat it already was the first thing I heard.
I see, right. Of course you wouldn't be kind enough to say something right away. Of course, I know that much by now.
I can see right through you, Yuuji. You're just after my D-cups, but I still love you.
I didn't say anything like that. Please calm yourself, Sakaki-san. She's just getting a little carried away. You call this a little?
Oh, Yuuji! Oh!
Oh, good lord, I admit you saw me making a fool of myself, so just get to the point. Why are you here? What do you want?
Come on, don't get all angry. We're just here to talk about tomorrow's lessons, you know?
Wait, are you and Sachi her lecturers for tomorrow?
Indeed, Sachi and I will be giving our first lectures tomorrow, but we totally forgot to have a preliminary meeting.
There are a number of details we needed to provide. What to wear, where to meet us, that sort of thing. One moment, let me get a pen.
No need for any notes. All you gotta do is meet me on the athletic grounds and something easy to move around in.
I will also be preparing everything necessary for the lesson on my end, so please come to the courtyard empty-handed. Okay, I really think you could just have told me this tomorrow.
What are you saying, Yumi-chan? We can't come see you unless we have good reason?
That isn't what I meant. Ooh, a well-timed dash of data at the end wipes away all memory of her awful behavior. I see you've been owning your skills, Makina. Alright, that does it. If you two keep making a fool of me, you're going to pay the price. You heard the woman. I think that's enough teasing for one day. Alright? True enough. I'm quite content with my current number of orifices, so I think we'll be taking our leave now.
Flirting around with that tsundere stuff's all well and good, but make sure you get enough sleep tonight, alright?
Just get out of here already. As Yumiko roars in anger, Makina and Sachi beat a hasty retreat. Apparently that really was all they were here for. Well, that was some unfortunate timing. I don't know why, but the chibi moments in this whole series, they just keep getting to me, because even though I played through this before, I can never expect them. They get me every time. Oh, it's priceless. Yes, and this on the heels of what happened today, I'm starting to wonder if they might be constantly listening at the door. You seem a little down, Yumiko. Of course I am. They saw me at the worst possible moment yet again. Is it really that bad? I was acting like a tsundere, Yuuji. I was feeding you off my chopsticks. If I'd been in their shoes, I probably would have burst into laughter. Guess I can understand how you feel. Even cheapy Yuuji is just so done with this. Even worse, it was Irisu-san and Kumine-san this time around. By this time tomorrow, it's quite possible that the whole humiliating episode will be uploaded onto the internet for the entire world to see. Now you're just being paranoid. You just don't understand, Yuuji. Those two work incredibly quickly, and their innocence makes them unspeakably cruel. I'm pretty sure they were just trying to tease you a little. What do? They even want Yuuji over to their side. It's all over. Calm yourself, Yumiko. You're so embarrassed that you're not thinking straight. That's not it either. I'm perfectly calm. Yes, cool as ice. On that note, let's begin packing our luggage, Yuuji. Well then, how do I comfort her this time? A good question. After all that time she spent stubbornly pretending to be a refined, solitary young lady, I suppose it must be pretty tough to have her classmates see her fawning all over her boyfriend.
In the end, Yumiko doesn't stop muttering to herself until well past midnight. And that's where we'll end the episode. So, in the next one, we shall see how the training with Makina and the training with Sachi goes. But until then, take care.